Hot topic of the day. No LeBron? No problem? Double-digit underdog? Let's get that big winning ticket. Big night in the NBA last night, Teddy, starting with those Los Angeles Lakers getting after a shooting performance by Russell Westbrook that didn't exactly help them, did it?
Well, Westbrook 7 of 30, although he did get whistled and hit all 3 free throws to send the game into overtime on what the refs called after the game a non-foul. They said it was a wrong call. Didn't matter in the end, as the Lakers ended up getting the money, plus 430 on the money line in that ball game. But hey, LeBron's out. We got to talk Kyle Kuzma here, because this is a guy who is developing into a legitimate NBA star. And out here on the West Coast, we saw him. We saw him in the Pac-12 for Utah. The guy was a monster. I did not anticipate this level of success at the NBA level. He's had it right now. Kuzma, good enough to carry the Lakers without LeBron to a win in Oklahoma City. That's an impressive victory for the Lakers, a team that I continue to expect to be among the Final Four in the Western Conference when all is said and done this spring.
Yep, getting those young kids some experience. Hopefully that's going to help down the stretch for the Los Angeles Lakers. Good for NBA ratings as well, Teddy, is when LeBron and the Lakers are good. So we'll see how that shows up over the rest of the winter. You know what's always funny? Because last night you saw the three-point shot there. Now, it didn't actually affect the game, since the Lakers should have won the game. It shouldn't have been the foul call there, and did pull it out in overtime. I always get a kick out of Teddy. In the NFL, you know what's great about, you take the loss, or if you had a point spread loser on Sunday, you're upset. But doesn't it always make you feel better where the NFL mails the letter to the head coach and said, you know what? I know you might get fired because you might not make the playoffs over this, but we did miss 3 or 4 calls that would have helped you win that game. Always a good one in the business, right, Teddy?
Well, the bottom line is they should be doing it. Even though it doesn't do anybody any good after the fact, at least it's just like we do, okay? I do the same thing, win or lose, all right? I'm A, accountable for my wins and losses, and B, I expect to learn something from just about every bet that I make. So after the bets are done, oh, geez, I shouldn't have done this, I shouldn't have done that. Let's I write down, well, hey, this is, and that process is a good process. So even though it's frustrating for fans to say, yeah, well, our bettors, oh, they screwed up the call and it cost me a bet, it screwed up a call, it cost my team a win. It's still good for the sport and good for the process. So it is what it is. Better than nothing, but pretty close to nothing.
Yep. Talking about being held accountable, Teddy, let's head down to that great state of Florida, where the Jacksonville Jaguars holding Leonard Fournette's feet a little bit to the fire. What better way to get started into the new year than your employer saying, hey, you had $7.1 million in guarantees coming to you. We're going to take that away. Hope no hard feelings there, and you'll come back and work well. This is setting up for a showdown here, which either A, is going to get Leonard Fournette cut, moved on from. I can't imagine after last year and the turmoil and the way Tom Coughlin reacted that this is going to work long-term. I don't think Leonard Fournette is made for Jacksonville. We'll see which team he might be on next year when it starts, but not nice. Even though Doug Marrone actually said, hey, we're in a really good spot here, even though I told the guy he's probably not going to get paid all that he's worth in the next couple of years. Talk about this one, Teddy. Is this a lasting relationship in Jacksonville?
If I'm the Jags and I have any running back on the roster that I owe $71.1 million guarantee to, I'm going to try to cut that guy and not have to pay that money. Of course, running backs are worthless at the NFL level. Who's been the best running back in the playoffs? The best running back over the last month in the
C.J.
NFL.
Anderson's been the best player for
exactly.
Last 3 weeks. C.J. Anderson. Yep.
Sitting on the waiver wire. Nobody wanted him. Running backs are not anyone that you're going to say, oh, let's load up, let's back up the dump truck and give this guy guaranteed money. Leonard Fournette, in my mind, when he left the bench and really essentially cost them the game at Buffalo, and not they were going anywhere anyway, but Leonard Fournette cost them the game there. They were going to win that game. They ended up losing. It was good for my bankroll, but bye-bye, Leonard. We'll see you somewhere on a veteran's minimum next year, making $500,000 instead of $7.1 million.
So, Teddy, what are you saying? Le'Veon Bell, $40 million guaranteed, not a smart move for one of these teams to make in the offseason?
Hey, how'd the Steelers do with it? Was the difference between Le'Veon Bell and James Conner the difference between Pittsburgh making the playoffs and not making the playoffs this year?
No. I would say no. Even Jalen Samuels had some good games in there, Teddy, down the stretch when Conner even got hurt in those games. Yeah.
Yep.
So, sorry.
Excellent.
Yeah, we'll take a look in the offseason. But, yep, running backs, a little bit lower. Should be fun. We're going to go over, again, this is Football Friday here on the channels at sportsbookreview.com. We're going to take a look at some line movements just a few moments, go over those 2 conference championship games. If you haven't done so yet, people, give us a follow on Twitter at SBR Sports Picks. Subscribe to us on YouTube. I'll say it every single time. It's easy. You don't even have to remember. I forget a lot of things in life. But you know what? When YouTube gives me the notification that betting show is going live, if I wasn't on the show, I'd be checking right in as well. Same as Teddy, SBRodds.com for all your shifting line movements, which we're going to go over in just a few moments here. But there was some stuff going on last night, Teddy, in basketball. We reviewed the game yesterday. Michigan State pulls out a nice win in Lincoln, Nebraska. Cassius Winston drops 29 points in Lincoln to help the Michigan State Spartans improve to 7-0 in Big Ten play. Something had to give in this one, Teddy, and Michigan, wire-to-wire close, pulls it out, gets the win and cover on the road there in Lincoln.
Yeah, I mean, Sparty's looking really good right about now. Really good right about now. The betting public was on him last night. The wise guys were on him last night. And frankly, I'm not all that frustrated, even though I lean Nebraska to did not pull the trigger on the Huskers. And I don't mind if Nebraska loses in fact, I hope they lose every TV game that they play, every big national hype TV game they play, because this team is a giant moneymaker. And when you see them on TV losing to Spartans, guess what? They'll hold that value, just like they've done for the last 2 years. Nebraska, even after last night's loss, still the single best point spread team in basketball since the start of the 2017 and 18 campaign. And the fact that they lost last night helps keep that value moving forward. I don't take anything away from the Huskers for losing that game. Now, Michigan State looks pretty darn good right now.
Certainly not. Me and Teddy do need days off from time to time, so we did want to put this one up here, folks, because we know it's going to be a big tilt in the ACC tomorrow on Saturday. Just to give a quick preview, I don't have any line indicators out right now, depending on where, maybe the advanced metrics there, Duke by 1 or 2 points, depending, but nothing official from any sports books that we have right now pertaining to the show as we're taping it now. But Virginia is going to put that perfect season on line heading down the Cameron Indoor. Looks like some injury information coming out for the Duke Blue Devils, Teddy. Trey Jones should be back. Trey Jones will be out for at least another few more weeks, but doesn't look like it's going to be that longer-term injury. It's going to take, months to heal, maybe just days or weeks at this time. Cam Reddish should return back to the lineup for the Duke Blue Devils. Are the Duke Blue Devils, as young and talented as they are, ready for this team for Virginia that just seems to be mowing top-level competition down left and right, Teddy?
Yeah, I mean, two teams that are combined 30-2 on the season. This is a legitimate marquee matchup. I heard a couple of projected point spreads around Las Vegas in the last 24 hours. They were talking right in that range. Duke -1, 1.5, 2. I'm not expecting the Blue Devils to be significant favorites in this ball game without Jones. And, of course, the young Dukes team getting the first look at that pack line defense. Look at the recent meetings. 65-63, 65-55, 63-62, 69-63. Nobody gets to 70 against Virginia. All they do is cash under bets. I'll tell you what, I am not expecting that Blue Devils defense to be, or that Blue Devils offense to be able to handle this defense at first look. I'm expecting another low-scoring game. I'm very interested to see where this total comes on Saturday. First lean has to be towards the under.
Yeah, no NFL playoffs there, obviously just being on Sunday this week. So a nice little marquee matchup coming to you at 6 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So one to look out for. I think it's going to be a good one. And look, if Duke is going to be a favorite in this game, Teddy, I'm not going to lie. I'm really looking towards Virginia in this one, especially with their point guard out. You're going to have to have ways to attack that pack line defense. Tough to shoot over it. Your early indications, Teddy, let's just say this line comes out, Duke -1.5. Do you have any early leans in this game?
Good game. Sidewise, I don't anticipate being involved in the side. To me, the thing that stood out is the total, without a doubt. I mean, certainly a lower scoring game favors Virginia. Duke, there's some correlation with Duke in the over. I don't think there's any correlation with Virginia in the under. Does that make sense? If Duke's going to cover,
absolutely.
they're going to have to put the biscuit in the basket.